Over the years that Pokemon has been around, there have been a lot of Pokemon to pass through the reigns. And let's face it, though most of us want to stay positive all the time, it's almost impossible to like every single Pokemon. I mean, just look at Umbreon. It's fucking ugly and only stupid people would like it. But while people may hate something at first, there's always room to change one's mind, and when it comes to Pokemon, it's no different. So much so that I decided to devise a list of the top 5 Pokemon that I hated at first, but eventually grew to love. First impressions are very important, but not the end-all be-all, and one's true character arises as time passes on. These 5 Pokemon on this list all gave me very bad impressions at first, but as time progressed, they really showed me their redeeming qualities. And before we start, if you have a Pokemon that you feel brings out the same emotions as these 5, then be sure to let me know who they are and why in the comments section below. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And with that being said, let's get started. Generation 6, while lacking in the amount of new Pokemon brought in, made up for that fact with the quality of awesome Gen 6 Pokemon. From Greninja, Tyrantrum, Heliolisk, Malamar, Sylveon, Hawlucha, there's just a lot of great Pokemon here. But one new Kalos Pokemon that I gotta say I absolutely hated at the start has to be freaking Barbaracle. I mean, what is this thing? It's just a bunch of tube sock hands attached to a rock and poof! There's a Pokemon. It's just such an eyesore to look at. I mean, how can anyone not call this thing ugly? And Binacle, its pre-evolution to me, was actually pretty adorable in its own weird f***ed up way, but was absolutely ruined by this abomination. Binacle and Barbaracle, for those who don't know, are actually based on these stupid things in real life called barnacles. You know, those dumb things that stick to everything in the ocean. So honestly, if you have a dumb origin like this in mind, then you're pretty much bound to have a Pokemon that is just as bad. Or at least so I thought, because a lot of my friends that also play Pokemon were even bigger haters of Barbaracle. And me, just being the wonderful friend that I am, decided to ironically and sarcastically love Barbaracle just to really piss them off. I mean, I always battle against them with him, added him to my team in playthroughs, and even bred a perfect competitive Barbaracle. And all of this, yes, was just to annoy my friends. Might have taken the joke a bit too far. But this ironic love for Barbaracle eventually turned into a unironic love and admiration. Because even though, yes, it is a fugly piece of garbage, I can't tell you how many times this guy saved me in battles because of a late game Shell Smash sweep. And battle-wise, I gotta tell you, this thing is pretty freaking awesome. I mean, Shell Smash, Tough Claws, and some powerful moves like Razor Shell, that can really pack a punch. And with the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon, Barbaracle got even better. By adding Z moves and liquidation to Barbaracle's arsenal, it gives him more dimension as an attacker and really makes him formidable. I know I'm usually the guy that doesn't care about battling, but in this particular case, I felt like I actually found a strong Pokemon by myself without actually having to look up some battle strats from other people. So basically, like a barnacle, Barbaracle really grew on me. Something that I have to say is really unfortunate to know is that Generation 5 will always have this stigma of bringing about some of the worst designed Pokemon into the series. And while yes, Pokemon like Klinklang, Unfezant, Audino, and Swoobat were awful, people tend to forget the actual awesome Pokemon that Unova had. I mean, there's Haxorus, Zebstrika, Gigalith, Excadrill, and especially all of the legendary Pokemon. But while I listed all the bad Pokemon that Gen 5 brought about, I actually left out the two most infamous Pokemon that everyone jumps to, that being of course Garbodor and Vanilluxe. And Vanilluxe at first to me seemed more like a disappointment than anything else. I mean, seriously, what happened here? Vanillite, its pre-evolution, was honestly one of, if not the cutest design Pokemon that Unova had, and I really fell in love with this Pokemon. Sure, Vanilluxe took a step back in the cute department, but I didn't really think it was that bad design-wise. But then came Vanilluxe, and honestly, at first, I kinda liked it. It's dumb for sure, but it's kinda cute. But then came the reviewers and critics of these games constantly shooting down the idea of Vanilluxe actually being a cool Pokemon. And with so many people hating on the little guy, it kind of made me second guess my own opinion. So yes, I too started hating on Vanilluxe, calling it overly designed, ugly, and of course stupid. And over time, I really started to realize how, well, stupid that was. You should never let other people's opinions sway you from what you actually believe in. So yes, I do agree that Vanilluxe is a dumb design, but I like it, okay? And I think it's adorable. So fuck off. No, I'm kidding, stay, because I need views. I love the cute faces, the straw breathing out snow like a snow machine, and the cool origin to the 99 Flake. Now, I won't go as far as to say that it's more than just an ice cream cone, because I do think that's kind of pushing it, but it's dumb, it's cute, and I like it. Salamence is a Pokemon that I think design-wise is very overrated. I mean, it's just another dragon-like Pokemon, nothing we really haven't seen before, just again, another dragon. And for me personally, when it comes to a pseudo-legendary Pokemon, I would always like to see something more lore-wise out of a design. And if I'm being completely honest here, I don't think the design is bad at all. In fact, I think it's pretty good. I just had these feelings harbored inside because of how long we have to wait to actually get it. I mean, not only do you have to wait till the near end of the game to catch it, but you also can only get a max level 35 Bagon. Do you know how long it takes to get one of these things to level 50? So much annoying grinding. Now, yes, if you guys only value having a strong Pokemon, obviously grinding for a Salamence is worth it, but since you guys know how much a good, well-designed Pokemon means to me, that's just something I value as much, if not more, than power. And with all the grinding and waiting around I had to do for this Pokemon, it just felt like a waste of time. What I'm saying is that it's not worth waiting the entire game to get. But at the time of Ruby and Sapphire's release, I honestly couldn't say I hated the Pokemon, I just thought it wasn't all that. The hate came 12 years later, once the remakes Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out. As you guys know from my worst Pokemon video, I was a big proponent of Mega Evolutions being used on Pokemon that actually needed it. Flygon, a Pokemon with pretty mediocre all-around stats, was someone that could have really used the extra stat boosts. But instead, Salamence, a Pokemon that did not need a Mega Evolution, got one just cuz. And not only did it get a Mega Evolution, but it was also one of the ugliest ones to come through the ranks. Call it saltiness or whatever, but at the time, these were my honest to God reasonings as to why I hated Salamence. But if I am looking at this from an objective standpoint, I do see the appeal of this Pokemon. It's strong, it's got a nice color palette, and it looks pretty intimidating. Time also healed a lot of those wounds, as when Gen 6 and 7 came around, Bagon and even level 10 Salamence were able to be caught a lot earlier on in the games. Also, as Mega Evolutions start to fade in relevancy, it really puts into perspective how dumb and unfair it was to hate on Salamence. Of course Game Freak would give it a Mega. It's one of the most popular Pokemon in the games, and that could help persuade people into buying Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't outright say I love Salamence, I just don't have any problems with it anymore, and I still stand by what I say about both designs. But I can see that a lot of my criticisms were just plain unfair. Pokemon Sun and Moon, as you guys all know by now, brought about some massive changes to the series. That includes mechanics, Z-moves, and of course, Alolan forms, and one of the very first ones to be introduced to the world was of course Alolan Exeggutor. This essentially new Pokemon was met with very mixed reviews, as some loved it while others thought it was stupid and the bane of their existence. And considering Exeggutor is on this list, you can probably tell what my feelings were for it at the time. During its reveal, Alolan Exeggutor just made no sense to me. Whether it's the enlarged neck, the even more derpy face, and especially the fact that it is a dragon type, that really pissed me off. And it isn't so much because it has it per se, but more so because people kept on taunting Charizard fans because of it. I mean, just look at its face, man. It's laughing at me. It just became kind of annoying. I also didn't understand why they gave it the dragon typing, so that did also factor into my hate for Exeggutor. It just goes to show that people hate and fear things they don't understand. But then I decided to actually do some proper digging, and it turns out that there's a lot more to this Pokemon than meets the eye. This design was actually intended to be the original Exeggutor, as shown and hinted here in this Jungle Set TCG collection box. It was later scrapped and minimized for the original Gen 1 games, but was always hinted in the future Dex entries that this wasn't Exeggutor's original form, and that it comes from a tropical region, most likely Alola. But in terms of its typing, through some digging around, Exeggutor's Alolan form closely resembles a coconut tree. Now this may not make any sense on the surface, but the resemblance to a coconut tree may be a play on words or a pun inspired by the coca, which is a dragon in Portuguese folklore, whose name shares the same origin as the word coconut. Exeggutor could also just be based on the Dracaena plant, which also happens to translate to female dragon in Greek, and is a serpent-like dragon in Greek mythology. So with this research in mind, plus proper context from the older Pokédex entries, I really understood this Pokemon a lot better and appreciated it for what it was. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I really came around on the derpy face, and to me, Alolan Exeggutor is now one of, if not the best Alolan form of all time, simply because of this awesome backstory. It's pretty damn cool. Remember when I talked about the two most infamous Gen 5 Pokemon? Well, I spent a lot of time talking about my hate for Vanilluxe that I completely missed out on talking about the other one, being, of course... That's never gonna get old. But Garbodor suffered from a very similar problem as Vanilluxe to me, where just a lot of people hated it, so I just kind of hated it too. I mean, the reasoning at the time was kind of sound, where it's really freaking ugly and it's just a pile of shit. And of course, there's also some of my own personal gripes with this Pokemon, like its dumb puffy ears and its messed up teeth. I don't know, man, I just don't like messed up teeth. But I don't know what it was, but when I was younger playing Pokemon Black and White, I always seemed to hate Garbodor a lot more than Vanilluxe. Maybe it's just because I had my own insecurities at the time, so I took it out on the thing, or just Vanilluxe had some redeeming qualities, but at the end of the day, I hated the thing a lot. But if you guys watched my unpopular Pokemon opinions video, then you should know that over time, my view on this Pokemon did change drastically. First, I quickly remembered that Trubbish was a thing, and it's actually one of the most adorable Pokemon ever, with its really ugly look. But it's so ugly that it's cute, it's like a pug. And in response to the whole it's ugly thing, yeah, that's true, it is, but it's trash. How else is it supposed to look? I mean, sure, they did make Trubbish really cute, but that doesn't mean it has to look cute. It's literally just waste. I also gotta say that I really started to love this Pokemon simply because of the fact that it pissed off Gen 1ers. Annoying them just brings so much joy into my life. Now, whether that's sad or not is really besides the point, and I will say that there is things to criticize this Pokemon for. I wish it could have had more depth than just being a pile of trash with a face on it, but again, not all Pokemon need to have this crazy backstory. Sometimes people just need to appreciate the simplicity in things. And at the end of the day, I can honestly accept Garbodor for what it really is. An ugly piece of shit, but a lovable piece of shit. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments section below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and become an Eryizo today. If you want to check out the previous video I did, be sure to click the annotation on the left. If you want to see more Pokemon Let's Go videos, click the other annotation on the right. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time.